Authors Speak. My name is Karoline Bethea-Jones, and I'm here with my girl, Renee Marshall-McKinley, and she's going to be my co-host as we have these little podcasts, and we're going to talk about all things writing, because we are, guess what, Renee? We are authors.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Oh my gosh, we're authors. We're
Yes,
coming
we are.
today because we are authors.
Yes, we own that. We own that now. We've earned that title.
Say that again. Say it again. Say it
We've
again.
earned that title.
Yes.
Me, I'm new to that title, but you have had that title for some time now.
I've had this title for so long. So
Yes.
I had this bright idea, Renee.
Okay.
I would have a podcast that talked about the journey of writing. Authors Speak, because I want authors
Yes.
to speak about their process, about their journey, about the whole how they got to be authors in the first place.
Absolutely. And it's so necessary. I wish I had this back when I started. Yes.
Yes. I wish I had this
Right
back
on
when
time.
I started, and that was a long, long time ago.
Yes. This is right on time. Right on time. Right on time.
Right on time. So thank you for being my co-host. Thank you for being with me. And before we go into all of the whatever, I really want to talk about you for a minute, because you are a brand new author. Now, I've been around for a while, so I feel like I'm old in the game, right? Because I've been an author since 2001, but it seems so long ago. Oh my!
I know. Love that.
It seems so long ago. But we're gonna talk about you for a minute first.
Okay. Yes.
We're gonna talk about
Let's talk about it.
We're gonna talk about it. So I know in an upcoming podcast that we're having, Living Your Best Life with Karoline and AJ, we had you on as a guest.
Yes, you did.
And you and our audience will be hearing that podcast on the 20th of January. So
real soon. That's coming up.
That's coming up. And you do talk a little bit about your journey, but I want you to talk about your process. I want you to talk about you as an author right now. So I'm gonna and it's not like I'm interviewing you, because
sure.
we're co-hosts, so we're doing this together.
No, but I like this because this will help me tell my story, during story time. So this is amazing. Yes,
absolutely. And I want you to tell your story, because I want to know how you became an author. And so my first question is, did you always write? Were you a writer? Even if it's, people don't understand, writing comes in all different forms. Did you write poetry? Did you write songs? Did you write essays? Because you don't just wake up I don't know if you wake up one day.
I did.
Did you? I don't know if you.
No, I'm not a writer by trade. That is definitely not me. I'm a project manager by trade. I teach. So in my teaching, I have to write instructions. So there's a little bit of an instructional manual type of writing. But in terms of wanting to write a book, did I pre-write? No. Did I have that burning desire to write? Yes. Okay. Did I ever think about what I was truly going to write about? No. I knew nothing in the game other than my friend Karoline wrote several books, of which I read.
It's an inspiration.
So I'm an avid reader, though. I am truly an avid reader. And then one day I just said, oh, boy, I think I want to write a book. It was just that simple. Just
really?
That simple. Knew nothing, know nothing. And what I do like about myself is, because I know nothing, I can't fail. I mean, I can fail, but nothing is truly wrong.
I'm pretty sure we could say fail. I don't know if you can fail in this game.
Those lessons, that's right.
Yeah.
Because all of those are lessons. That's right. Did I learn a lot of lessons? I learned a lot of lessons. A lot of lessons were learned during this trial. Yes.
As we move forward with this podcast, we are going to talk about the perceived failures.
Yes.
Because I think so many people stop writing or lose interest because they consider themselves a failure.
Right.
If no one read their book, or if they only have 10 copies, or we'll talk about that later on.
Absolutely. Yes.
We progress in this podcast, because
that's all part of it.
Yes, because I really want to encourage people to do what they love. And a lot of people love to write or love to tell stories and love to do these things, and then they feel insecure about it.
That's what it is, because they always are like, nobody wants to hear what I wrote. I'm not good enough. I didn't do this well. And that's not the truth. Everybody has their own individual story.
I
Even
agree.
if you just have one story, one short story is your story and your story should be told.
I
Absolutely.
agree.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more. I really couldn't
Yes,
agree with
yes.
you more. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping, and one of the things that I'm hoping to do with this podcast is
Okay.
encourage more people to just follow their heart and
I
just,
love it. I love it.
yeah,
Because there's so many ways of writing, like you mentioned. There is poetry, right? Nowadays, people are producing journals, um, to-do lists, whatever. It's
yeah,
so many ways that you can get your name stamped on a
exactly.
hardcover, paperback, ebook. There's so many ways now, which is amazing, which probably was not there before when you started.
No, no,
Anybody who has that passion or burning desire to say, yes, I think I want to do it, do it.
yeah.
Do it. Do it wrong. Do it wrong a couple of times. I did. Trust me, I did. I had no idea what I was doing here.
Yes, I'm glad you said that too. Do it wrong because that's the
Yes.
only way you get to learn. But for me,
Yes.
I remember I started out with poetry, as you said.
Yes.
I wrote poetry. Poetry seemed to resonate with me for a long time. And then it got to the point where it's funny how this works. I got to the point where I stopped writing poetry and then I started writing short stories, right?
Okay.
And then I went back to poetry, but
Okay.
then I was writing song.
But don't they kind of connect?
They do connect. They
Weave
do
together.
connect. It's
Yeah.
funny because Al would say, "This is not a song, this is poetry." But I'd be like, "It's a song," because I had the melody in my head,
Yes.
I had the verses, I had
Yes.
the bridge, I
Yes.
had the chorus. To me, that was a song.
Yeah.
But as a
Think
musician,
about rap.
he's saying, "Well, this is not a song, this is poetry."
I'm going to disagree. And Al is my guy. But I'm going to disagree because rappers
Yep.
write poetry,
Yep.
they're singing about it in their song.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree. But
All right,
yeah,
Al.
it's okay. But then I started writing short stories.
Okay.
Then most of my writing, actually, believe it or not, is more workshop related,
Okay. Okay.
booklets
Uh huh.
and essays.
Yeah.
Because I only have 3 fiction
Okay.
novels, and the rest of them are mostly manuals. And
Now, see, that's kind of like, well, I am not creative in my head about certain things, about writing. I am not a creative writer at all. So, my very first book is basically true. It's basically something, my girlfriends and I, these are the things that we did. This is how we accomplished it. These are some of the goals we did. So, my book pretty much is like, okay, this is a true story. And even, and that was our book for, oh Lord, look, now I got a little bit in 2 books. I can't even remember. So that was pouring, the story of sisterhood.
yes, pouring. Yeah.
But then while I was writing that, someone came to me and said, hey, would you like to write a chapter? So now I'm also in an anthology, which came out before my book. I was writing my book, I stopped so I can get the anthology completed on time, and then came back to my book. So, but in that book, it's still a true story because my chapter is about celebrating your fears, celebrating your failures. That's what it was. Celebrating your failures. So we do that all the time,
Yeah.
but it depends on perspective what those failures are, right? How those failures look to you. Yeah, we messed up, but that mess up is truly a learning opportunity.
Yes.
So that's what that chapter is about. So for me, I'm not really a creative writer, like your books that you wrote. I can't do that. I tried.
It's interesting that you use the word can't.
I cannot do that. Something we have to know our strengths and our weaknesses. Now that one, ain't got it. I'm okay. I'm okay to own it.
I find it interesting that you use the word can't.
And I never use can't. But here's the thing. Do I care to keep trying to do it? That's not my passion and my love. So I said, okay, I'm going to move away from that.
Okay. And I'm glad you brought up passion.
Yeah.
And your love and passion.
Yeah.
I'm trying to determine what my love and my passion is because where I am creative,
Right.
I can write fiction.
Yes.
I can craft a story right out of the top of my head like nothing.
Yes.
And my songwriting is
I
creativity.
love
My
that.
poetry is creativity.
Yes.
But I got to tell you, when I started working on my thesis for
Okay.
my
For
doctorate,
sure. Yes.
and that's a different type of writing, as
Yeah.
you. And
Yes.
when I started, through the ministry, started creating my own workbooks, and
Yes. Which I love too. I love that.
I love it too, and I'm
Yeah.
trying to determine where my passion lies. And I say that because I'm going back into the pool to try to finish up the trilogy. So
Okay.
I'm
Oh, I
working,
love that.
I'm working on Deception.
Yes. Yes.
I've been
Yes.
working
Yes.
on
Yes.
Deception for a long time because, like you, I had to take a break from writing fiction to write the
Other
other
things.
material.
Other things. But you
Yep.
never stop writing, though. You never stop writing.
Right.
That's the
So,
thing.
but I got to a point where now, when I was going back to write the story to finish Deception, and because I've been writing, like you said, real stuff for so long,
Mhm.
I'm trying to. I'm saying, do I even really like writing fiction now? And I'm trying to make the determination if I do. But I think because I have so many stories inside of me,
You
that
have tons. Yes.
I definitely will probably go back to the fiction writing because I wrote short stories,
Yes, you did. Yes.
and
But it comes so naturally to you.
yeah.
Those things come naturally to me. To you, I would be struggling out the door. Like just to even get a character in my head or a location in my head. I struggle with that because I don't see those visions for those type of things. If
Hmm.
I can create things. I create bath and body care products and
Yes,
things
you
like that.
did.
But
Yes.
I cannot write about something unless I really know. I have to be the really know person.
Hmm. Wow. You know what? I never even thought about it like that.
Yeah,
And
that's my
I,
thing.
I can do that. I can make up something out of nowhere. And then, what the funny part is, Renee?
Yeah.
Because I'm not a liar in my real world,
Yes.
you know?
That's probably what it is for me because I would probably have to write for somebody and something happened and change the name. See.
No, but I think I don't know if that's true, Renee. I think if you really sat down, and
Yeah.
um said, I'm just going to write this story, and because story writing is fascinating. I literally went to school for this too, so
And
my
see, there's
diploma.
another thing.
I have my diploma in fiction writing as well.
Yes, you do.
But I'm telling all my secrets now. But we were given tasks. Like
Right.
if I gave you, if I gave you a setup, if I said to you, you're going to write a story about a woman who is lost on a deserted island and she's trying to find her way home, you would have to think about that story,
Yes.
right?
Yes. But you see what you did though?
What did I do?
Set me up.
Okay.
You gave me a scenario.
Okay.
Does Renee automatically say, let me write a story about a woman who's on a desert island who can't go? That's that's not me.
What I'm
But
suggesting.
could I do it if you gave me a scenario? I probably could write something. Could I
Yeah,
get a
I
whole
think
book
you.
out of it?
No, I think you could. I think you could.
Eek.
But isn't that what it's about though? If you go outside and you're walking around and you're seeing things,
Yeah.
stories to me materialize out of things that I've seen.
Okay.
Like I can
Yeah.
be sitting on my porch. I remember one day I was sitting on my porch, my front porch, with my cup of coffee. It was 7 o'clock in the morning. It wasn't. It might have been like 6:30 in the morning, but it's summer,
Yeah.
and the cars are going down the street, but there's nobody out, and I'm sitting on my porch. And when I go into my meditative state, I
Mm-hmm.
begin to imagine. And
Mm-hmm.
I sat on my porch and I wrote a short story, just sitting on my porch, using elements of the traffic and houses. And I created this scenario in my head. So I believe you can do it if you set your mind to it.
See, I must say that that's your gift,
Oh,
right? We all have gifts.
we all got gifts.
We all
Yeah.
have gifts. I can walk down that street and I'm trying to say, let me get to where I can go.
This is going to be one of those glass half empty, glass half full.
Yeah, but no, if I was tasked with an assignment that I had to do it, yes, I would definitely have to do it. I just don't see myself at the moment, because things can always change, as a imaginative author, as an imaginative creative author of a book at this moment.
Okay, well, I'm glad you
Yes.
shared that with me, because I think
Yes.
one of the things that in my mind right now, I'm thinking one of the assignments that I'm
Yeah.
going to have us do. I
Oh
want to say
Lord.
you, but I'm going to say us because it would be
Oh.
unfair for me to just give it to you, is
Ooh.
to literally do that, because I am going to show you that you can be a fiction writer. And not just you, I'm talking about the audience, individuals who are listening to this podcast, because I believe in creativity, and
Yes.
I believe that we can get motivated to be creative.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
part of the things we're going to do on this podcast is that we're going to craft a story using the elements. See, I'm gonna
Okay.
play teacher, because my first role in life is teacher.
Yes.
Um,
Teacher, same.
that's it.
Raise my hand there. Yes. Yes.
I'm
Yes.
going to give us all the elements of how to
Okay.
write a story.
Now
And I'm
see,
pretty sure you're going to be able to write one.
I can work with something. I can work within those parameters. Will it be great? I don't know. Will I get the assignment done? Absolutely.
Why are you judging yourself before you give yourself a chance to even see if
But
you do this? Why are you judging yourself?
I
Why?
know me. I know me. We know ourselves. We know
Okay, but
ourselves. We
you
do.
think you know yourself. There's aspects of yourself that you do not know.
I know me. I know me.
And we're going to bring, I promise you, I'm going to bring it out of you. So
Okay.
I want my listening audience to know that by the time we get to the first year, finish up the first year of our podcast, Miss Renee Marshall-McKinley is going to write
I
something
accept.
fiction. It's probably it'll start with a short story. I'm not going to throw a novel.
Okay, because Lord help me.
I'm not going to throw a novel at her, but I
Thank you.
promise you, you're going to be able to write a short story.
I accept. How many pages is a short story?
Listen, a short story could be 1 page long, or it could be 20 pages or more.
Accept it.
Okay. So let me tell you something. You can write. You literally, if you're crafty enough and creative enough, you can get to the heart of a story and write a true short story in just 1 page.
Now I believe that because, and the reason I say I believe that is because my family had this challenge. One year, my aunt came to us and said, "Let's write every day for 30 days." I did that, but guess what I did? It was still a true story. It was not fiction at all.
Okay.
I didn't embellish. It was the truth. Ooh, it was the truth. And each story after that was still the truth. It wasn't like, oh, Mary was walking on a beach where she found a seashell. Look, I can't even think right now where she found a seashell before she ran and dove into the ocean. See, I'm dead in the water right now.
Yeah, but listen, you can embellish a true story. I think most writers, I'm gonna speak for myself because I would have to have taken a poll to find out if this is most writers. And
Yeah.
I'm not even going down that road.
Yes.
I will
Just
tell
gonna
you
be
for
new
me,
B, new B.
yeah, I will tell you for me though, I start out with truth because truth is
Okay.
where I am.
Yes.
And then I allow my imagination to not just embellish the truth. Like, for
Okay.
instance, we could say, if sitting on my porch, right?
Right.
The house across the street from me is blue. And I can
Right.
describe that whole entire house in
Yeah.
from the fence to the dog that's in the backyard. That's true because I'm looking right at it.
Yes.
But the story that I'm telling about that house,
Right.
it's not necessarily true. Okay.
Got it. Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna learn how to take a story that might be true, because everybody's life is not full of excitement and all
And
this,
adventure and all. Yes.
as
Yes.
dull as it may be.
Right.
You can turn it into something different. You can take
And
somebody.
I believe that. I
Yes,
believe you can take a happy ending and turn it bad, or you can take a bad ending and turn it
yes, you
good.
can.
I firmly believe that.
Yes.
I'm not calling yet, but I accept your
Yes.
challenge.
Accept my challenge because
I've already accepted it.
I promise you're going to change by the time we get to the first year of this podcast.
Okay.
You're going
Okay.
to change. Okay.
Okay. All right.
All
Challenge
right.
accepted, people. People, I accepted the challenge.
Okay.
That I can do one page.
Okay. I'm only going to give you one page.
And that probably is all I can handle.
And maybe what I'll do is
For now.
I'll give you a little tiny scenario and have you write a page about this thing.
Let's get it done. But I have time, right?
Yeah, you got time.
Okay, wonderful.
You got
All
time
right.
because we just started. So I'm very, very excited about this project.
Yes.
One of the reasons why I'm excited about this project is because I have my hands in so many things, right?
And you do, yes.
And one of the things that I've never really had an opportunity to do was really sit in the author chair for a long time. And and I'm gonna tell you why. You're saying you've been an author since 2001.
Yes.
My point is, I'm also a ministry leader, as you know. Most of the work, I have almost nearly 30 years of ministry work.
Wow.
And next year, 2025, we'll be celebrating 30 years.
Wow.
So
Clap it up, everybody, clap it up. That's
we're gonna put that up because I'm very proud of that.
Absolutely.
So I put my entire heart and soul into my ministry, into service,
We know that, and I think that's probably why we were able to get together so well, because we are both women of faith and both women of service.
Yes.
I mean, you're in your own specific ministry longer than I am, but
no, it doesn't matter
at our core.
Yes. I totally agree.
Yes.
So I wanted to give myself an opportunity before I left this world.
Okay.
Because I'm 62 years old, and
I
need to,
I'm catching up,
right? And so I wanted to give myself an opportunity while I'm still
in our right
mind to actually have an opportunity to sit in the author seat and do what I love and talk about all things books and all things.
It's this platform. You have started it already.
Yes.
You started it. I mean, we met up last year, the end of last year.
Yeah.
So it is here now.
Yeah.
It's here now. Yes.
Yeah.
Here now.
So this is why we're here.
Yeah.
So and I'm excited to have you as my co-host. I'm excited to work with you. And the minute you told me that you were an author, I was so excited, so thrilled, and so happy. And I needed to, and the minute you told me that, it was like the minute I discovered it, and I discovered it on another podcast because you are frequently on my podcast because you are
showing up.
Right, and I've always been a supporter of Sisters Helping Sisters in Christ.
Yeah, you call me and I'm showing up.
And exactly, and you were on another podcast where we talked about how to start a business.
Yes, it's winter time.
Side of what we do in the ministry, and you mentioned briefly that you had wrote a book. I was like, wait a minute.
I gotta lay that on in there real quick.
I know you tried to slide that in there, and I
was already in front of the author, right? So mine was just a little piece. Okay, I wrote a book. Yeah.
We're not gonna do that. Yes. You've known me long enough to know that I'm not that person.
Yes, I know.
I spend more time trying to be a woman who motivates, uplifts, and encourage other women. Yes. I spent the last 30 years doing that.
That's what we do.
And so I didn't spend the time doing that to myself, right? But I'm very proud of my work as an author.
Yes.
And since I have not mentioned it, and you were smart enough to mention your project, so my first book, Someone to Love. That's my first book, Someone to Love.
That was your debut.
That was my debut. I wrote the book in like 1995. And
what?
Yes, I wrote the book in like 1995. Wow. And I didn't do anything with it. I held on to it. It was just my baby, right? Wow. And I remember through working at Prudential, I was talking to a young woman. Her name was Cheryl Neal. I will never forget her. And she was brand new in the company, and I was talking to her, and we were getting to know each other.
Yes.
She was like, so tell me something interesting about you, you know? And I was like, I don't really know if I have anything interesting about me. And then I said, I wrote a book. I said, well, it's not a book, it's a manuscript. And she goes, well, let me read it. And I'm like, but it's just pages, typed pages. It's a manuscript.
Yeah.
She goes, I still want to read it. And I brought it in one day and she read it. She came back to me and she goes, you have to publish this. And I was like, nah, I don't know anything about publishing.
And you didn't let anyone else read it before that?
No. She was
Wow.
the only person who read it. Because
Wow.
I wrote it and just kept it.
Yeah.
Now, Renee, you know how super shy I was.
I know.
You know,
Back then.
back then, the person
Let's
who
keep going.
that's right, the person who I am right now, I was not that person back
Not
then.
that person.
And so, you know, I was a really pretty protective of my stuff. Now that was and
That was your baby. That was another
but
baby.
here is the thing that a lot of people don't know. Someone to Love was not my first book. I wrote several other things that I never published. It's still sitting in my computer right now.
And what's the delay? What's happening there?
Well, you know, I don't. Someone to Love was what I finished it. The other books were still in progress, right?
Okay. Okay.
And I wrote a children's book for AJ that I never published. It was, I'm telling you, I would write for my kids. So I wrote a children's book for AJ called Mom, the Babysitter's Weird. Again, out of my imagination. And I would read this manuscript because it wasn't a book. I would read this manuscript to AJ. That was his, I would write books for them and read them to them. So I never published that one either.
They would love that as a gift.
I know.
If you would finish that.
Yes.
All right, people. Karoline has a challenge.
Oh boy.
You all don't know this family, but her grown babies.
Grown babies.
Her babies are grown now, and she has baby grandchildren.
Yes, I do.
People, our challenge for Karoline is to do what? At least get those. Is it just 2?
It's about 3 or 4 of them.
Get one of those children, since she brought up AJ first.
Yes.
Finish AJ's book.
Yeah.
His children's story.
AJ's book is finished. Mom, the Babysitter's Weird is finished. It's just not printed.
So
it's a manuscript.
Karoline.
Printed. Yeah.
Is to wrap that up.
Right. And I
money just another thing. That's just money sitting there.
It could be, or it could not be. It's some of those fears that you talked about. Maybe nobody wants to read this children's book. Maybe
somebody does.
Or maybe it's never going to get anywhere. And these are some of the challenges as a.
That is true. That is true.
Some of the challenges. And later on, as we're having these discussions, we're going to talk about the traditional publishing, self-publishing, because I want to make it known that I am a self-publisher.
Yeah, as Emma. Yes.
Because what happened? Let me finish telling you what happened. Because when Cheryl Neal convinced me to send this book to a publisher, I sent my manuscript out to like 5 or 6 different publishing houses.
Okay.
And I got the rejection letters like everyone else did.
Okay.
And then I got this one letter from this agency in New York. It was a rejection letter, but it wasn't the typical rejection letter.
It wasn't flat out.
It wasn't a flat rejection letter.
Okay.
This person, and I still have that letter today. I never got rid of it because it was my encouragement.
Yes.
This publishing house said that that particular writing was not what they do.
Got it.
But the letter said, this individual, it was a gentleman's name at the end of it. So I'm going to say this gentleman said that the book was book worthy and that the only suggestion that he would give me on the book is that I change it a little bit where I have some, in the first original version, I had some flashbacking. Okay. And what he wanted me to do was change the way I put the book together and bring the action to the front.
Okay, but he didn't ask you to change your story,
No,
right?
no, it wasn't a story. He wanted me to bring the action to the front,
Okay.
as opposed to having this great happy ending and then
Yes.
flashbacking to
Yeah.
all the disasters that happened.
Right. Okay, got it.
He thought it would be a more cohesive story if I brought the action to the front.
Okay.
I went back and I actually did all that. But in the meantime, while I was doing all that, I was researching different publishing means of publishing. And there was something inside of me, Renee, that wanted to keep all of this information at my fingertips.
Yes.
I made the decision to self-publish, not necessarily because I couldn't get a publisher, because that publisher in house was very encouraging. And
Absolutely.
But at that particular point, I really wanted to do the work myself. Like you said, I wanted to go through the learning stages.
Yes.
You know,
learning.
the learning stages. So, and where you say there was some mistakes in that book because of my learning. But
Absolutely.
that particular book, Someone to Love, will always be my shining glory. Because when I tell you that I am a true self-publisher, and what I mean by that is you have self-publishing houses where individuals will bring their work and they sit back and relax while the self-publishing houses actually do the work.
Right.
They pay for all of it, and they do, they get the credit. I did all of the work, except for the actual printing.
Right.
And back in that day, I actually wanted to invest in my own printing press.
I believe that for you.
Right, because I wanted to be my own printer as well.
I believe that for you. You always need to learn, Karoline.
Yeah, but I wasn't able to financially be able to do that.
Printing a book and doing all the components is very costly.
Yes.
Hence why I self-published myself, because you learn in your research where the money is, where the money goes. And you're like, oh, can I spend this now? Can I save on this? So it's a lot involved in producing a book.
Yes.
It really is. And I'm glad that I took the time to learn what I did learn. Can I learn more? Absolutely. Am I a baby at this? Absolutely. Everybody can always learn more, right? There's always more that someone can learn. But I am grateful for the steps that I took to learn just to get this one produced.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I made a lot of mistakes. And I also want you to know that I self-published the book with just what I knew. And just as I was going with the story that I rearranged and told, right?
Yes.
I didn't go to school. I didn't go through the school to get my diploma in fiction writing until Someone to Love was already
out there.
Yeah. So a lot of that stuff I learned after the fact, but to this day, Someone to Love will probably be my greatest accomplishment.
Same.
Yeah.
I got this one little baby and I'm like, well, 1.5, because again, I'm in someone else's book, but the whole entire process from start to finish is in my own personal book.
Yes.
And that is just like something you hold so near and dear. No one can take it away from you, even if it's wrong. Nobody can take away from you the fact that it's your creation, creativity, start to finish, all the components. You own it. So that was what that impressed myself, that from start to finish, and I was pulling my hair. Oh, look, let me make sure. I was pulling my hair out trying to figure out, but I didn't want to tap anybody on the shoulder, because for me, sometimes in the struggle, that's where the gold is.
Yes.
And so I learned a great deal in doing that, where even people said, Renee, can you show me how? I said, ooh.
Yeah.
I can show you what I know.
and again, I keep trying to tell you, you know more than what you think you know. And you are a great inspiration to me, even though you keep saying you're the one who wrote all the books. I
you?
am inspired by I am inspired by many people.
Yeah.
And many people always look at me and say, "How come you're inspired by me?" But I'm telling you, I'm inspired by so many people. I
Absolutely.
am a storyteller, so therefore I love hearing stories.
I'm a reader.
Mhm.
At my core,
Yeah,
I'm a reader. I read all types of books. So at my core, that's who I am.
yeah.
Am I truly a writer?
Yes, yes,
I'm a writer. Yes. I am a writer. Yes.
yes,
I am an author. Yes.
yes.
But I think I love reading more.
You know,
I love to see what is in somebody else's brain, like what they're thinking and how they're painting and how they express themselves.
well, you should want to
That's
know what's in your own brain and how you express yourself and how you.
math. How do I make body products? How do I do my other company? But
Well,
but this is not my last. So
of
this is
course
not
not.
my first of all, Caroline just gave me homework.
I
Just
was
want to
going to
say
say,
that.
first of all, I
So
done gave you a task,
so
so
I got homework there. But
yeah.
even in the writing arena, and I created, produced, published 2 notebooks as well.
Okay.
So, but that's still not words to paper. Words to paper, which I still want to write another book.
And
Write
you
another
will,
book, the
and you
words to
will,
paper.
and you will
Oh
write
yeah,
another.
you gave me homework. Yes.
Yes, you will. You will write another
And you
book.
know what's interesting? I actually started a children's book. Hold it. I have an idea for a children's book. Started. Nope, I started. Started an idea for a children's book. And then I started another idea for a children's book. But of that second children's book, it's truth. You know what I mean? It's very little bit of embellishment. And when I do that, I go, God, does this make sense? Right? That's where I begin to second guess myself. Is this cohesive? Does this really go where it should go? But I've started. I started. I will always start.
I know, but you always say that. But children's books can start from truth because now I have little Naomi, right?
Yes.
So Naomi is 2.5 years old, so she's going to be 3 in March. But her very first birthday, I wrote her a book. Her second birthday,
Did you?
yeah, her second birthday, I wrote her a book. So now I'm challenged where I have to write her a book for her third birthday. And as she gets older, those books have got to change. You understand?
Right. Yes.
So right now we start with the rhyming books. 365 days around the sun. Look at you, you're turning one. You know what I'm saying? First it starts with the little kitty stuff. But as Naomi,
That's so cute.
I know, but
I would
listen,
have never thought of that.
but listen. But Naomi's gonna get older. So at 3 years old, I'm right now saying to myself, okay, um, I need another book other than a Dr. Seuss type book. I
Yes,
want her to
yes,
start learning too.
yes, yeah.
So I'm looking to write a book where there's some learning in there for her. And then
Absolutely.
as she gets older and as she starts this, she's 5 now, she's 6, she should be reading. So now she's gonna need to read a story. Because I want her to be
That's a
prolific the way
challenge.
my whole entire house is, right? I
Yes.
want her to maybe be a storyteller. And so these are how
I love that idea. I love that idea. I love it.
so
I
you
love it.
have grandchildren, so you could do the same.
But see, their book, the second one that I started, is about those
Okay.
kids. It's
And that's
about them with a little bit of. So I'm working on trying to see outside of what's going on in my head. And the reason I wrote that started to write that book, is because I wanted them to also be co-authors.
yes.
That was that is my entire purpose for working on that book.
Okay.
So they can begin to get some income from that book.
Okay. Okay.
So we all have purposes, right? And
Yes.
so that is my inspiration and my purpose for putting pen to paper or keyboard, whatever you want to call it,
Exactly.
to write something down. So yeah, I'm excited for trying to get it done. And my kids their ages are like spread apart. So it's just going to be a general children's book. But for them, they'll get to see that they call me Nona. That Nona produced something and brought them into it, so they can also
Yes.
go author.
Right.
So that's my end game with that.
And I love that. And I love that.
Struggle end game though.
And I
That's
love
what
that.
I'm thinking
And I
about.
love that. And it's not a bad idea for me to start putting Naomi's name or giving her some copyright you know, as well.
Get our kids money. Let them
I
earn.
totally agree with that. I
Yes.
totally agree.
Yeah.
One of the things I'm doing now, like I said, is I'm in the process of writing this third book for her because her birthday's in March, and
Yeah.
March will be here before you know it.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna have to have a book ready to go.
That is right. That is. I love that though, Caroline. You never cease to impress me. You never cease to impress me. You
Well,
just
you
don't.
gotta, you just, you know what? I feel like, because it all rises out of my spirituality too. And one of the things that we talked about together is our spirituality. So I can't see myself leaving this world without using every bit of the talent that my creator has given me.
Isn't that something?
Right? So I credit my creator, my God, for so much of everything that I do. Because
All of it.
you,
I can't. There's nothing I can do without him. So that for me, all of it.
well, my point is you have to do some of it too. But I
Yeah.
feel as
I do
though
the work.
right, there were so many nights when I would literally dream entire stories. And I would wake up and just get up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and I run downstairs and I just write it all down.
That is your calling.
And I just write it all down
I love that.
from start to finish. And I've been asked a lot of times, well, how do you know how the story's going to end? I know how my story's going to end before I write it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I know the story.
Wow.
And even though it's fiction, I literally have created, and we're going to, again, these are all things that we're going to flush out about
because
later.
we have about a good 3 minutes.
Yes. We're going to flush out these things later when we talk about
absolutely
how do you create a character and stuff of that nature, because you really there's a lot of work, but it's fun work that comes into creating a character.
Absolutely yeah. And I can see me doing a little something.
Yes, I can see. So yes, this is our very first podcast.
And I am so excited to be here with you, Caroline. You can call me for anything. We are in this. We authors are in this.
We are in here. Again, the name of this podcast is Authors Speak. I am Karoline Bethea-Jones, and my co-host is Renee Marshall-McKinley. And we're going to be talking about all kinds of things on our journey, but we're also going to have authors who join us too.
I was going to help you bring that up. Yes.
And they're going to talk about their work. They're going to talk about their process. And, I'm excited. So if you are an author, right, Renee?
Yes, absolutely.
Author, and you would like to have a conversation with Renee and I about your work, about your process, and give some little tidbits on how we can be better.
Yes.
We can share with each other. Then I want you to join us on this podcast. And again, you can send an inquiry to shsicministry@gmail.com. And all this information will be in our little heading that I include in our little podcast. But I want to thank you for joining us tonight. And Renee.
Yes, darling.
I want you to start thinking about the task that I gave you, because
I'm waiting on you now. I've already thought about it. One thing you know about me, you give me something, I'm on it.
All right, so you're waiting for me to give you a scenario?
Yeah, I'm waiting on that scenario.
Okay.
And look, I got 12 whole months, and we don't wait till the last minute.
No.
So whenever you give me that scenario, we on that.
I'm gonna give you a juicy one right now.
No. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So everyone, since Renee always likes to write from reality, I'm going to give her a hard one.
Oh, God.
Listen to me. All right. So here's the scenario. A woman is seeing a psychiatrist because she has anxiety and she has fears that she's trying to get rid of. And so her therapist sends her on a trip all by herself. And she goes on a trip by herself to a Caribbean island, right?
Okay.
And
okay.
she meets this wonderful gentleman, and they have a relationship.
Oh, Lord.
So she realizes that her fears were unfounded, and then she ends up being, this is a lot of information. You don't have to do any of this. Okay. But I want you to start from there. I want you to talk about so I gave you the character. The character is the woman. You can name her whatever you want to name her.
Yes.
But she herself has an assignment. She has to take a trip to help her with her fears. And she's going to end up on a Caribbean island, and she's going to meet a gentleman. You take it from there. That's all information you need. Okay?
I can do this. Renee, you can do this.
Now, that's a lot of information for one page. But what I want you to do in the one page, so I'm going to give it to you like this.
I can start.
No, I need you to start this story, because you're going to realize that you're going to write this story, even if it's a short story. But the one page that you're going to give me, you're going to give me the character. You're going to create this character. So this character is going to be the one page, because you need to know who this character is. So you need to create this character. And she can be whoever you want her to be. She can be whatever nationality you want her to be. You decide what color her hair is, her eyes, everything. Okay?
Guys, I'm feeling a little anxious right now, because I started out saying I don't know how to visualize, but this is a task. I accepted it. So there it is. We're going to come back. Sometime or another, with some updates.
Yes. And this is a monthly podcast, so we're going to be back every month.
Oh, wait, you told me I had a whole year to get my things done.
You had a whole year to get the story together.
Oh, so Lord.
We're going to be back every month with our guests, and every now and then we're going to ask Renee how she's doing with her character. But listen, I want you to write a short story by the end of the year. So therefore, you have to do it in piecemeal. Right now, I want you to get your character together. Get your character together, then you got to put her on the adventure.
Ooh, Lord. Okay. I'm glad we're taping this, because Renee needs to replay at the end of here.
We're going to replay this. It's going. So anyway, our time is over, but thank you so much for joining us on our very first podcast. Yes, we got through it, Renee. We got through it. Don't worry, but I told you, don't worry. We have lots to talk about.
Absolutely. Lots to talk about, lots of new authors to meet, lots of old authors to meet. Just the community itself is so massive. We're waiting to speak to you.
We're waiting to speak to you. Thank you. So I'll see you next time. All right, you've been listening to Authors Speak. I'm your host, Karoline Bethea-Jones, and I'm with my co-host, Renee Marshall-McKinley, and we will see you next time. Thank you for joining us.